So what is it like living in Northwest Florida? What's it like living up on that, what we call the panhandle part of it? And is it any different than living down in Central Florida? Well, in this video, we're gonna go over those exact things.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts peeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. And I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon.
Up here on the panhandle, that's how separated we are from the rest of Florida. Is it the same as Central Florida? There are some things that are the same, but for the most part, it feels a heck of a lot different up here in Northwest Florida. So what is this area? What is the Emerald Coast, as we call it? What is it known for? Mainly, it's those white sandy beaches. You're like, yeah, Tim, I've been out there to the Gulf Coast of Central Florida and Tampa and, Sarasota and all those places. Well, it's a little bit different than that. Why? Because we have a lot of undeveloped beaches. So it's not Condo City out here. And, for the most part, versus some specific areas, but most of it's undeveloped. You got forest on one side and just open sandy beaches on the other. There's a good portion of it as well that's part of the Air Force and military installations. So most of it's not gonna be developed for a while as well, which gives it that sort of feel. We're also known for tourism in this area. People typically come to this area for 3 specific destinations. Whether they're going to Pensacola and Pensacola Beach, you also have the destination, no pun intended there, and go out for some great boating, fishing, whatever. It could be out to Panama City, for that sort of spring break or just, summer feel. We also have the 30A area that you can go out to as well. This is a little bit more of the affluent, relaxed beach area is kind of the best way that I can put it. But people will come here as well just for that tourism. They love coming in here for that. Fishing is phenomenal. It's got some of the world-class, or has some of the best and world-class boating that you'll have out in the Gulf and in this area. And of course, spring break. There's tons of people coming down, especially in Panama City. It's always been known for spring break to drive a ton of people down here, starting in March, going a little bit into April. And of course, May and June, everything else starts to ramp up here, and that's when we get the most amount of visitors. Let's talk about it. What's it like to live here? Well, let's talk about the weather first. Now, the weather is we'll just break it up into 4 different seasons. So we'll start with the winter. The winter is average temps between 46 to 70 degrees. Doesn't sound that bad depending upon where you're coming from. But to us Floridians, that's pretty darn cold when we're in the 40s and 50s most of the time. One thing I do want to caveat when we talk about heat and we talk about cold. It's one thing that still sticks in the air because we're right next to the ocean, next to the Gulf, and that's the humidity. The humidity makes the cold colder. It makes the heat so much hotter. So think about that too when we start to talk about what it feels like in these different times, that a 46 dry temperature isn't probably that bad, but 46 with 80% humidity or higher starts to feel pretty cold. All right, so let's go into the spring. The spring is around 60 to 88 degrees. It's really nice for a very short amount of time before the heat just gets us and we're like, well, there's the humidity. Okay. All right, going into the summertime, you've got 75 as a low all the way up to 90. There's a lot of mornings that you're gonna see sometimes in June, especially through August, where the starting temperature is 80 degrees and it's already close to 100% humidity, at least in the high 90s for humidity. It's rough. Once you get into the fall starts to calm down, but depending upon what year it is, we have some fluxes where it can get down to 50s, 54 once we get towards December, but the highs are still up there in like 87 degrees as we start the fall time period. So there is, again, a nice little kind of break that we have there. We don't really see colder weather until we get into maybe mid November, and even then we could go through and it will be 60s or mid 50s and above, and then next thing you know it's 80 degrees. Like, it just kind of blows you off. We had a it can kind of just blow you away when you will just be out there in December, you're getting ready for Christmas, and next thing you know it's 80 degrees out and you got the Christmas tree up. It's kind of nuts. All right, so let's talk about people and culture in our specific area in Northwest Florida. So let's just kind of base it upon its location. First, we're pretty much lower Alabama is where we're at. And because of that, it brings a lot of that sort of Southern hospitality to our area. There's a lot of respect. There's a lot of, we'll just say, old way of doing things here, but generally just really nice people. We also have that influence through the military bases as well, which drives a lot of diverse personalities and cultures into our area as well. There are people just like myself that didn't grow up here, and the military brought me here at some point in my career, and I'm like, I'm moving back there. So end up being a transplant, like a good amount of Floridians over here, and which of course adds a different aspect to everybody that's here. Not only that, but I mean, this is a vacation spot. So there's lots of happy people, and that's pretty normal. And it's really nice to live in an area where people are just happy all the time. They're constantly in the best part of their life. Think about it. If you're going out on vacation, are you grumpy? Are you angry? No. For the most part, you're like, I'm going to make the most of this. Who wants to be angry on vacation? So yeah, because of that vacation spot, because of which I'm going to call the beach life, the beach vibe, it really kind of takes the stress level down a notch. Because of that beach life, things are a lot more relaxed. So you can kind of anticipate that as you go out to different restaurants or different parts of your business. Things just seem a little bit slower. They seem a little bit more relaxed. And I won't get too far into this, but here on the Panhandle, things and politics-wise, it's generally pretty conservative. We'll just leave it there. All right, let's talk about cost of living in Northwest Florida. In Florida in general, like overall for the entire state, if we had to look at an index where that index at 100 is the average across the continental United States, where Florida sits is at a 102 on that index, so 2% higher. Now, let's just kind of look at the areas. If you go to a place like Destin, Destin sits at 105.3, which again is 3% above the national average. Pensacola, you go to a little bit bigger city, medium-sized city, it's 96.6, so it is below our national average. Now, go to a more affluent place like 30A, which we would call, if you look on a map, is Santa Rosa Beach. Then you're looking at about 137.7 out of 100. So 37.7 above national average. And you can go as far out to Panama City, and Panama City is 96.5, much like where we would be in Pensacola. So you can see that there's a wide array, and it seems pretty affordable comparatively where you're coming from. If you're coming from New York, you're coming from California, the cost of living is going to be significantly lower than what you were used to. Now let's kind of talk about where people come from to live here. And most of the times people are moving here because they've got job movement of some sort. So why are people moving to this area? What drives this? Now, there's a lot of military bases, and because of that, it brings not just military personnel, but contractor and support infrastructure as well. There's at least 6 military installations from Pensacola all the way out to Panama City. So because of that, it drives a lot of different contractors, and there's a lot of money that's involved with military contracts as well as military personnel that are constantly moving in and out. So big portion there. And who could forget tourism? There's tons of that as well. It is seasonal, but the season's pretty large. There's only maybe 3 or 4 months where you don't have to worry about a large influx. It's what I tell the locals, like, this is when we get the area back, at least for, 3 or 4 months. Then we got to give it back to the tourists, which I personally don't mind at all. But because of that, there's a lot of customer service jobs that surround that to support those sort of things and that sort of atmosphere and culture. And of course, because there's a lot of people moving in and out, we do see a good amount of retirees that like to come to this area too. So we do have a good amount of work for healthcare. Now, healthcare is pretty prevalent throughout the United States. However, that's one of the major jobs also that drive here. Now, you can go online and you can check a lot of these out, and they'll give you different ones based on the statistics of here. But these are the notable major employers that make a cultural difference in feel of where you're coming to. So that's all I have for you for what it's like to live in Northwest Florida. If you have any questions about anything that I mentioned here, please leave a comment below. And if there's anything that you'd like to add, we love hearing from you. Please keep it positive, but go ahead, leave it here in the comments below. If you are moving to our area, again, you've got some questions, need some help, we love to help. So give us a call, text, email, find us on social media, whatever you got to do, we got your back. We're moving here to the Emerald Coast in the Destin-Fort Walton Beach area. But again, I'm Tim Whittemore with the Whittemore Group here with eXp Realty. We'll see you in our next video.